We have basketball on the schedule. What's going on, Celtics fans? You're watching Celtics Today by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Tyler Smith, and the 26-27 NBA schedule is finally here. So we're going to break down some trends for your Boston Celtics, the biggest games on the schedule, NBA Cup, national TV, all that stuff on today's show. Breaking news for your Boston Celtics. Before we do, go down below and hit that thumbs up icon. Make it known. If you can't wait for Celtics Hoops to return, do one thing for me. Go down below and like today's video. The home opener, or the season opener, I should say, is on NBC, and it's a little bit different of a look than we've normally seen on opening night in the NBA. As a matter of fact, the Celtics play before the defending champion New York Knicks. They're actually starting them at 3 p.m. Eastern Time at the Detroit Pistons. First of all, disrespect, because this game should be in Boston 100%. What kind of juice does Detroit have? I have no idea. But the reason the NBA is doing this is because they want more European audience, and they want that to lead into eventually maybe some European expansion in the NBA. So they're getting a slot where 3 p.m. Eastern Time will be prime time overseas. So that's why they're doing this in the middle of the day. I do love, though, that the Celtics are playing before the Knicks. If I was the defending champ, I would be pissed that the rival was playing before me. But the NBA is disrespecting the Celtics in multiple waves, right? They're doubting them as well. If we look at the most nationally televised games in the NBA this year, the Celtics are not first. They're not tied for first, the four teams. I mean, how in God's name are the Lakers? I know that they're a huge franchise, huge popularity. It's LA, lights, celebrities, all that jazz. The team sucks. Why are they at 34? I understand why the Sixers have 34, the Knicks, the Spurs. I get it. Thunder 30, sure. The Warriors and the Nuggets have more than the Celtics. I get it's only one, but come on, guys. Celtics with 27 nationally televised games. Minnesota tied with them as well. And the Giannis Miami Heat are there at 25, rounding out the top 10 here. But even more disrespect than not being in the top 5 or the most nationally televised games in this league, the Celtics play 16 different sets of back-to-backs. That is the most in the NBA. As a matter of fact, it's the most you can play, period. 16 back-to-backs is the most that any team is ever allowed to play in this league. And the Celtics, a team who has Jason Tatum, who we know is maybe not going to be as big of an Iron Man as he once was. Paul George, who's had his fair share of injuries. Like Mitchell Robinson, who's had his fair share as well. 16 back-to-backs, the most in the NBA. More about these back-to-backs from Mark D'Amico here, saying there are some interesting quirks to their 16 sets. Boston will play a back-to-back during each of the first full 6 weeks of the season. Nice. Yeah, great. Just got to get these guys real tired and worn out early. It also has 5 back-to-backs, though, that will be played entirely at TD Garden after only having one such scenario occur last season. So, I guess with that scenario, there's some bad and some kind of good with it. The first 6 weeks, though, why are we packing this in so early? Spread them out. I just don't get it if I'm the NBA. But you know what? They love these back-to-backs. They have an 82-game season. There's going to be a bunch. I just don't like they have the most, and they have probably the most in the first 6 weeks of the NBA season. Let's move on to the NBA Cup schedule here for Boston, because my goodness, who did they pay off to get a group like this? I mean, this is ridiculous. The Bulls, October 30th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That one is home. At the Hornets, who lost LaMelo Ball. That team's not going to be very good. 7 p.m. on November 6th. November 24th, right before Thanksgiving there, we have at the Wizards. They'll be all right, but what are the odds that Anthony Davis plays in this game? I can't say they're too high. It's over a month into the season. Then against the Hawks, that'll be the toughest matchup, I would presume. At home, though, that's a good thing. At 8 p.m. on November 27th. Those are your Cup games scheduled before the knockout games begin. Now, here's the first 10 games of the season. We're not going to go through all 82, but I want to show you guys what the Celtics have on tap to start the year. So they play the Pistons in the opener on October 20th, 3 p.m., nationally televised, all that good stuff. The Knicks, they will play in their home opener on Friday the 23rd. That one's also nationally televised. The Bulls, obviously, is their, not that one, but the one on October 30th is their NBA Cup game. They play the Bulls, Nets, Bulls the next 3 games. I mean, the Celtics have a pretty good start to the season. I think the same thing goes for the Magic. They stink, if you ask me. They can beat the Rockets. The Bucks are the worst team in the NBA, and then the Hornets are pretty bad as well. So, I mean, 8-2? I think this team should legitimately be 8-2 in the first 10 games of the year. That's how good I think they are. Now, coming up next, we're going to talk about the biggest games, the biggest 10 games on the Celtics schedule. We'll talk about them in a moment. First, a word from our sponsor over at Prize Picks, America's #1 app for sports picks. You just pick more or less on a few player stats, lock in a lineup, and you can win real money while watching your favorite sports. And trust me, basketball season-long projections will be here very soon. Once the season begins, we'll have full game stats that you can pick more or less on, whether it's points, rebounds, assists, blocks, three-pointers, steals, turnovers, personal fouls. They have it all on Prize Picks. But they also have football season-long projections, preseason football projections, because that's what we're in the market for now. With their new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy their lineups into your own with a single click. You can even follow me on the app, at Tyler J. Smith, to see some of my lineups, including this one for tonight's preseason football action. We're going with Lan Larison of the New England Patriots, more than 21.5 rushing yards. I know you guys watching this video might like that one. And Joey Sly in the Titans and San Fran game to go more than 1.5 field goals made. You can take my picks or fade them. Just do it at Prize Picks, and maybe take advantage of their team picks feature as well, where you can pick game winners, spreads, and totals on the app. When you sign up, though, just make sure you use that code HMA, because when you play your first $5 lineup, if it wins, you get $150 in bonus lineups instantly. That's code HMA. You play your first $5 lineup, and you get $150 in bonus lineups instantly if that lineup wins. The link to download the app is clickable in the comment section and description of today's video. All right, let's talk about the biggest games on the Celtics schedule here. We already kind of talked about the season opener against Detroit. I mean, Jason Tatum versus Cade Cunningham, good matchup, but I think the Celtics are pretty substantially better than Detroit at this point, even though the Pistons had one of the better seasons in the NBA, at least regular season-wise, last year. Let's talk about the home opener, though, against the Knicks, defending champs. As of right now, the New York Knicks are better than the Boston Celtics. I know. We've been saying that now for 2 seasons, and it's made me quite sick, to be honest with you. This time they get revenge pretty early in the year, October 23rd, 7 p.m. prime. And look, I think if the Celtics come out there and make a statement, I mean, I know the Knicks are going to be coming off the game against the Sixers, so maybe in their heads they won't even care about this one that much. You know what? Go punch them in the mouth. Go take it to the Knicks and show them that they were a one-year wonder here. I think the Celtics are going to be an awesome team this season, and they got to make a statement early on against both Detroit and New York in the home opener. Let's talk about the next matchup on my docket here. The first matchup with Jaylen Brown as a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. This one comes Tuesday, November 10th. 8 o'clock, NBC, prime time in Philly. My gripe with this game is, like, why wasn't it in Boston? The NBA clearly does not care about the Jaylen Brown, Boston Celtics dynamic. They didn't put him on Christmas. They didn't put him on opening night. And they didn't even put the first matchup between these two teams in Boston, a return for JB. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but this game's going to be another test for the Celtics early on in the season, man. Like, you got LeBron, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe. At this point in the season, you would hope, if you're a Sixers fan, all 5 of those guys are healthy and in the lineup. And I'd imagine for a game like this, they're all going to play as long as they're healthy, of course. So this is a one I'm absolutely penciling in on the schedule. I'm sharpieing it on my calendar. Celtics at 76ers in Jaylen Brown's first game, matching up against Jason Tatum in his NBA career, Tuesday, November 10th, 8 p.m. NBC. Next up, I call this one the Boogeymen. The Celtics and the Nuggets, it's kind of been a little bit of domination over the last few years. The Nuggets have won 5 out of the last 7 matchups against the Boston Celtics. It's just a team that has our number. I'm putting this on the calendar because I want to go out there and beat them. Like, we got swept in the season series last year. Let's have a different notion this season. Like, the Nuggets had kind of crashed and burned in the playoffs last year. Jamal Murray was a cone. I mean, Jaden McDaniels called the whole team cones, then he actually lived up to it. Crazy aura gamble by him. He paid off. Jamal Murray, you got Jokic, you got Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, maybe Peyton Watson, maybe Aaron Gordon. I mean, they're a team that struggles with injury as well. So I'm looking at this one big time because the Celtics, like we saw this past season, struggled to beat top-seeded teams. The top 3 seeded teams in each conference, they just struggled to beat them at the end of the day. The Nuggets, I'd imagine, are going to be, a top 5-ish seed in the Western Conference. That's a big-time matchup early in the season on the road. Next up, Christmas Day for your Boston Celtics. Probably should have went through a couple of the key dates earlier in the show, but this one's Christmas. Honestly, the fact that it's Christmas, I don't really even care about. The fact that I care about is that we're playing Giannis Antetokounmpo, and we need to go show the Miami Heat and Celtics fans in general that we didn't need Giannis. We can still beat this team without him. We can still beat any team in the NBA without him, but this game specifically is a big one. Obviously, playing against Bam Adebayo, we know the history between him and Jason Tatum. They're sure friendly, but on the court, it's been nothing but. And then, the Giannis factor. Like, is he even going to be playing on Christmas? What's his health going to look like this season? I could say the same thing about a handful of Boston Celtics, but this one is one that I'm absolutely looking for. Not even for the Christmas Day factor, just for the fact that I want to beat the shit out of the Miami Heat. Next up, Lakers. I'm already pissed about the Lakers getting 34 nationally televised matchups when it's Luka and 4 honkies starting out there. Like, absolutely ridiculous. But Thursday, January 7th, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Prime. So, of course, the late game here. It's on the West Coast. I titled this one Tatum over Luka because, look, at the end of the day, he may not put up crazy numbers like Luka Doncic does, but Jason Tatum is more of a winner. Jason Tatum is more portable. He can work in many other different situations, unlike Luka, who's completely heliocentric. Everything revolves around me, so I'm looking for that to show its full force in this one against LA on the road. Now we'll talk about Jaylen Brown's return to Boston here. Thursday, January 21st. We have to wait not 1, not 2, not 3. October to November, November to December, December to January. 3 months of the NBA season we have to wait before Jaylen Brown makes his return to Boston. That's how little these guys care about this whole storyline. Whatever. I care about it a whole heck of a lot. On Prime, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Same deal as before. Sixers on paper are damn good. At this point in the season, I'm expecting there to be some locker room tension and maybe a skid, maybe some guys hurt in and out of the lineup, some lack of continuity. By this point in the season, the Sixers are not going to be the same team, whether it's for better or for worse than they were at the start of the year. So definitely looking at this one on the calendar as well. Next up, like I said earlier, you got to beat the top seed. So I'm looking at every matchup against the Oklahoma City Thunder, San Antonio Spurs, Denver Nuggets, all these top teams in the Western Conference. Then, of course, teams like the East, like the Knicks, the Raptors, the Cavs, the Heat, all these teams that are going to be competing at the top of the conference. Of course, Philadelphia as well. This one coming in at Oklahoma City, and another team the Celtics don't really have a great track record against as of the past few years. I mean, OKC has been a juggernaut, for God's sakes. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN in OKC on Wednesday, February 17th. Next up, the most critical Knicks matchup of the season. They actually play the Knicks again in the last week of the season in April, but usually by then we kind of know seeds for the most part. Like, it's not going to make too much of a difference by then. It absolutely could, but right now I'm thinking this one on Pi Day, Sunday, March 14th, noon ABC, Sunday matinee matchup is the biggest Knicks matchup of the season. This is going to be the one that's kind of the turning point for the last month of the year, and I'm looking out for this one, no doubt about it, once the calendar turns to March. Last but not least, or maybe second to last but not least, we got Celtics at Cavs. And this one is where I could see, like, okay, we're turning the calendar to April. We got, 7 games left in the season. This is one where I could see some serious seeding implications happen. The Cavs are a good regular season team, man. Do I have any do I have any worries about them in the playoffs? Absolutely not. But as far as seeds go, this one's got a big one. It could be the Celtics in 3rd, Cavs in 4th, Celtics in 2nd, Cavs in 3rd type of situation here. I'm going to be looking at this one big time down the stretch of the season because we just know how good and typically how healthy the Cavaliers are during the regular season. Then, last but not least, this one isn't like a huge game by any means, but it's the last game of the season. Sunday, April 11th, my dad's birthday. Shout out to him. 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if that's actually super accurate at this point. Like they usually do the Eastern Conference games a little bit earlier, but it's in Boston, and we know what happened last year with the last game of the season. It didn't have seeding implications for us. It did, though, for the play-in game, which caused the Philadelphia 76ers to be our first-round opponent. So maybe we don't want the Luka Garza magic to happen once again because we would have played the Orlando Magic if that didn't happen. I think we would have had a better shot against them than we did against Philadelphia, even though we were up 3-1 in that series, regardless of what it is. This is the season closer here. Shouldn't be too crazy. We should still take care of business against the Bucks, even with our reserves. You tell me down in the comment section, which matchup are you most excited for? Let me know. On the entire schedule, go take a look at the whole thing. Let me know which matchup you're pumped up the most for down in the comment section. That'll do it for today's show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/CelticsTV for the latest and greatest in your Boston Celtics all offseason long. See you guys next time, and as always, let's go C's.